Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start by throwing the Bear Cave Lego to the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you feel like being a lurker, just go ahead and lurk. If you don't want to type anything, you just want to chill and watch, that's cool too. Do that. Lashberg is here. Hello, Lashberg. Ghost Valve is here. Hello, Ghost Valve. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. It is a Saturday night. It's a fine evening for working on a model kit. We're working on the Reborns Gundam. Now, I don't actually think we're going to finish this tonight because the legs aren't super complicated, but there's still the waist to build as well and the backpack weapons. So I think we're probably going to finish this kit on Monday. I do know what I'm building next because I had my $10 patrons vote and they all wanted me to build the same kit, which is nice. So that'll be a car kit. We're doing a snap kit, the Cascades FD from Initial D. Cascades, yes, Cascades FD, which we've built in knockoff Lego form and in glue kit form, but never in snap kit. And I'm very excited to do that. It's a 132 scale, so it's a small car. I think normally the cars I've built are 164 scale. So it's going to be a small kit with a lot of stickers, and I look forward to putting it together. But that'll be in the future. In the present, I'm working on this model kit, and we're going to jump to the overhead camera right now. There you go. Reborns Gundam. There you go. Get ready to do that. We're doing it. We're making it happen. We are currently at, boom, 25 out of 40 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I shut up at 40. If you would like to become a subscriber, you could jump in now. This will be the last time I mention this because it will, this ad will end before my stream kicks off on Monday. So I will put this out to you. If you would like 3 months free for Apple TV Plus, now is a great time to get in on that. You could do that by subscribing here for the first time, not a recurring, but the first time, or gifting a sub. So if you are a new subscriber here, or you gift a sub in chat here, you could get you would get 3 months of Apple TV Plus, which is a deal for $6. It's a pretty good deal. And then if you want to gift a sub to the community, then number go up, and I like when number go up. So I thought I'd mention it. Yeah, because as I said, we're currently at 25 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40, and I shut up at 40. 40 is just 40 used to be the minimum I needed for a payout. That changed because they cut the payout minimum in half, which is very good for me. That's a good thing. We like that. So that was nice. I'm going to get all the polycaps I need out for this because I need several. I need 8, and then I'm going to need a 1 and a 3. So we'll just get out of that. I'm going to get 8, a 1, and a 3. Put these over here. Various components that we will need to assemble our legs here. Some of which we could do at the same time, some of which we got to do in order. So we need that, and then I'll need 3. Polycap 3. Luckily, these are very different from one another, so they should be easy to identify. One has a little extra plastic, rubberized plastic on here, so I'll just clip that off to make my life a little easier. Snip that. Wow. Does not want to snip. There we go. Got it. Yeah. So yeah, they changed it. And then also, I haven't properly done the math. I need to properly do the math because I used to say 40 because 40 was like, well, $5, that cut in half, that gets to $100 a month, a little less. It's a little less because of fees, and then it makes up for that because right now 2 people are the $10 tier, so that's extra dollars. So that all kind of worked out. 40 was kind of what I needed to hit for all those things to kind of work out. Now that is a different story because subscriptions are $6 a month. So the number, and I get half of that. So the number is different. Instead of $2.50 for a subscriber, it's $3. So the number changes a bit, and I have to take that into consideration. Obviously, Tier 2 is still $10. They didn't go up to 12, which is nice. So yeah, so I have to take consideration a bunch of those things, and I haven't really done that. I haven't really done the math in my head. I will at some point. What's going on with that? But yeah, for the most part, it's just like, all right, just makes things a little easier here, and that's nice. And I would love views to go up. So here's the thing I forget. I forget this every year. My numbers drop in the summer. My view count drops in the summer. And that's fine. That's understandable. Like, it's the summertime. People are out and about. And, you know, I understand that. And I'm not, like, necessarily consistently bringing in new people all the time, which I also understand that it happens. I should probably guest on another stream at some point. That should be something that I should probably do. Should probably do a guest spot on someone's stream, you know, with a bigger view. That would be probably beneficial. I do not expect to travel to a convention anytime soon, which would also help me because it would introduce me to new people who didn't know about my stuff. I have been thinking about maybe possibly collaborating with somebody on a project. We're in the early stages of talking about that. One of the things about doing something like that is that it just like requires time and energy and attention. And right now I have that, so I have the motivation to do it. Who knows? I mean, it's been like well over a year since I said I'm going to start having guests like once a month. And that just never happened because scheduling and finding the time to do it and all of that. And I never ended up pulling the trigger on any of that. I had grand visions of doing that, of like having streams with audio guests, not video, just audio. And that never materialized, and that's all on me. I just never fully went for it. I could have. I just never did. All right, let's get this together. Let's get that together. We turn this around. We got to put polycap 1 in here. These legs look real cool. This is a fun solution. So on one side, this is where the leg is going to meet the waist, and on the other side, there's just like a piece of plastic that covers up the hole. I think that is a cool design. It should be noticeable in some light. But yeah, I just think that's cool. It's a cool way to hide that. But yeah, I mean, some sort of collab. I don't know if that collab would end up being here on this stream or if it would just be something that I do, you know, outside of the stream. But there has been some discussion of some sort of collaboration with me and another streamer, just to do something in our mutual enjoyment of pro wrestling. So it would be a wrestling stream. Hey, just another spicy. Welcome. Happy to have you here. But again, I don't want to talk too much about it because it is still in the, hey, do you want to phase, and not in the like, okay, so when would we think we would do this? How would we do this? What do you want to do with this thing? Like, we're nowhere near that. We are still in the, you know, what would be cool phase. And that's not ready for prime time. I'm going to apply the stickers first here before I apply this other part, because I think that would be better. We are doing some stickers in here. So, one news story that I want to talk about tonight. There's not a lot to chat about this evening, but there's a few things that we can kind of chit chat about here. The one I definitely want to chat with you about is NVIDIA is being sued. This is being reported at 404 Media. And I'm looking at the recap of that because it is, I would have to be subscribed to look at the full details of it. But basically, NVIDIA is doing their OpenAI stuff, right? they're doing their whole OpenAI, and they, in leaked documents, it was revealed that they trained on stuff they obviously did not have permission for. And they seemed very flippant about anyone on staff being like, hey, so this is going to be bad for us at some point. And they were like, no, basically the idea is that by the time that anything gets shaken out, they will be covered by doing it before anything shakes out. Like, that is their genuine opinion, is that, well, this is where the technology is going, and it'll all get worked out. It'll all work out in the future. Because they think they can argue fair use and transformative stuff, which they can't anyway. But there is a federal lawsuit by David Millett, and David is not going the like, oh, you have the rights to this. David is going, you owe me fucking money for doing this. Unjust enrichment and unfair competition, and seeks class action status to include other YouTube content creators with similar claims. So this is basically the idea is like, hey, you're fucking around with my money and also other people, and I want this to be something where other people can join this as a class action lawsuit, which the going theory is NVIDIA is not prepared for, and we're not expecting this at all. The big idea is that NVIDIA unlawfully scraped YouTube videos to train its AI software, which was filed in California. This lawsuit. NVIDIA used software on commercial servers to evade YouTube's detection to download approximately 80 years worth of video content per day, which is citing the 404 media reporting, previous reporting. So 404 is, because of their reporting, is somewhat involved in this. Which is interesting. So let me just get this sticker on here before I keep reading. So NVIDIA is basically just like, no, we respect the rights of all content creators and are confident we are working in full compliance with the letter and spirit of the law, which theoretically, since there are no laws governing AI, NVIDIA thinks they're in the clear. But again, this isn't saying like, oh, what creative use is. This is saying like, oh no, this is unjust enrichment. You're going to make money off other people's work without compensation for it. Also, the same person, David Millett, is also has a suit against OpenAI. So he's not saying copyright infringement. As I said, he is not going after copyright infringement, which experts in the field think they assume that is what NVIDIA was expecting to be dealing with, and what they were prepared to be dealing with in lawsuits. All right, wait, where does this go? Okay, so that has to go like that. Sorry. As always, this thing is weird. The legs are weird on this. How this goes together is weird. There's so much weird about this kit. Continues to be weird. Okay, so it slips in like that. And then kind of can open like that because it's got to be able to bend. And that's how that goes. And then I'm going to put in C4, C5, PC3, and then also I will eventually need some other C parts here, so I'll put these on there. Then I will also need to put another sticker on, because this kit has stickers. It's got a lot of stickers. So again, they're not, these suits are not going after copyright infringement. He's accusing the tech companies of unjust enrichment and unjust business practices. In the case of NVIDIA, those practices were unfair, immoral, unethical, oppressive, unscrupulous, or injurious to consumers. And he's just seeking an injunction for the unauthorized use of his videos, restitution, and other damages. So basically just being like, nah, you're anti-competitive. Because the idea is that one of the arguments is NVIDIA is trying to make something that is using his videos, among other people, to replace his videos. So it is not like the transformative nature of it, which they argue is, no, you're doing this to put me out of business. Which is, again, an interesting take on it. One that I not necessarily expecting to see. And I wonder, did I do this right? Yeah, okay, so I did this. I think I did this right. And then this goes like that. And then this goes this. And this goes like this. No, that doesn't seem right at all. This will go like that. And then this will go like that. This is going to go down and fold over. Goes like that. I am going to, pardon me, friends, I'm going to use the translation app to try to make sense of if there is a thing here that will explain this better to me, because I am at the part of this that is confusing. So let's do the camera, and then we're going to highlight some text here. To be assembled later is what it says. What? Okay, so that's the stickers. Stickers on the left, yeah, okay. All right, there's a side view, so we'll try to do this the way that it wants me to do it. Again, as always, friends, this will be a lot easier when I do the other side, as I struggle with this side. Once I do it once, theoretically, the other side will be a lot easier. There is a photo here to use as reference, and so I will endeavor to use that as reference. So this goes like this. This seems accurate. This is then going to go here. Snap in like that. It does want to be able to move. Okay, so if it goes like that, there's far less of there's much more of a gap in the way I'm doing it, which makes me think I might be doing it wrong. That's right. Huh. Okay, let me just try to do one of these legs properly. So the leg will go like this. If I'm doing this right, this doesn't seem correct. If I take this part off, then this is going to go like this. Without this middle part, the idea is that it goes like this, and then it goes like this. And that's how it would go together. That. Yeah. Okay. Wait a second. Okay. All right. I'm figuring something out, I think. I'm figuring. No, this goes like that. Okay, so it goes like that. And this is looking like this. Goes like that. Okay, so there. Yeah, there's a lot of guide stuff here, but it's just not giving me the information that I think I need properly. I'll say this, I'm not understanding what this wants me to do. I'll say it like that. Hmm. Is it? Ooh, is it like that? Ooh, hey, hey, I think I might have gotten this. We'll find out here. I think I may have accidentally stumbled on how to do this right. I think I did. Hooray! I figured out this leg, and that does look right, because it could bend that way, and it could bend that way, and bend up like that, and then it can bend the other way, because remember, there's a weird transformation at the end of this kit. Okay, whew, all right. Now I have to just add a sticker to the back, and that's certainly way easier than that. Hopefully, when I do the other leg, that will not feel as bad. Yeah. And then this is one of the stickers I need to pull out of here. This sticker. And then this sticker goes along here. And this is not an instance which sometimes these model kits, I'm like, the back sticker I don't worry too much about because who sees it? But with this kit having like a transformation mode, I have no idea what parts are noticeable and what parts aren't noticeable. So, gotta try to get that right. Okay. That was very confusing and very annoying, but now we are in good spirits here, and we can move on to continue to work on this leg by putting in some more of the armor, because obviously there needs to be something that goes there. So I need B1 and B2, and then I need C8 and C8. And then I need to just quickly use my app here to look at what it's saying. The old Google Translate app here. What do you got to say? Cut out neatly. View from above. Okay. Thank you, Google Translate, for that information. So let's see. Okay, so Millette mentioned is also suing OpenAI, and that is the lawsuit accuses the company of taking more than 1 million hours of video from YouTube using automated means such as robots or programmed video scrapers. NVIDIA also commandeered video from Netflix and other online sources, according to the 404 Media report, which cited a former NVIDIA employee granted anonymity. That is a word that I do not say out loud very often, so occasionally, when I do say it, anonymity, it comes out bad. It's not a word I say. So NVIDIA's defense of it is, anyone is free to learn facts and ideas from publicly available sources. Creating new and transformative works is not only fair and just, but exactly what our legal system encourages. So NVIDIA's defense is, anyone is free to learn things, and if you download them breaking the terms of service, that's okay. And I guess NVIDIA in part is trying to argue that AI is a person, which it's not, obviously. But the real part that seems complete nonsense is where they're like, anyone is free to learn facts and ideas from publicly available sources. It's just like, yeah, but you're breaking terms of service to do it. Like, that doesn't hold up. Like, they know that shit's not going to hold up, but that is their line in the sand because they're also hopeful that the Supreme Court won't understand what AI is and will be like, I don't know, it's a business. NVIDIA seems cool. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Again, I can't tell you for sure that this is going to work. It is very clear that NVIDIA's defense is completely ridiculous and nonsensical, and that their idea of what learning is, also that's a lie. As we all know, the machine learning is just gobbledygook. It's not real. It's not actual learning. It is just processing information, but they are breaking terms of service by doing it, and they know that. So it's all about how far people are willing to go in a court case to kind of make this decision, to get to the point where someone's going to make a decision on it. But we are certainly here's the thing, right? NVIDIA, as I said, NVIDIA is a large corporation, so maybe they think they're untouchable in this regard, but they're like probably the biggest player in this that is not just a startup, other than, I guess, Microsoft, you could say, certainly Google as well. But there are a lot of companies they have taken stuff from that might be less inclined to be cool with it, unless they are also working on their own AI bullshit. So, I think that's where they think they can get ahead, is that some of the companies that we mad at them won't be mad because they're also doing it. And we'll see what happens. Let's see. Over on GameDeveloper.biz, we do have some layoffs, unfortunately, over at Ubisoft. 45 jobs gone at Cary and San Francisco, the Cary and San Francisco teams. That is U.S. offices in Cary, North Carolina, and San Francisco, California. Cary has also been gone for many years by the name Red Storm Entertainment. They are the Tom Clancy people, the Tom Clancy video game people, I should specify. And Ubisoft San Francisco. Also, they're the Tom Clancy people and also the Assassin's Creed VR people. And they were working on Division Heartland before that got canceled. So apparently they got some, it makes sense with a game canceled that there would be, unfortunately makes sense that there will be layoffs given that. Ubisoft San Francisco are the people that bring you Rocksmith and the South Park game and X Defiant. So it is unfortunately South Park games. It is unfortunately not too surprising that they would also have layoffs, as X Defiant has not set the world on fire by any means. This is the second time that they have done the 45 people, exactly 45 people, and I don't know what triggers, what math they're doing that has them hit that number. But in April, they did that against their publishing teams for quote-unquote efficiency's sake. And a staggering number reported here by Game Developer. Between 2002 and April of this year, so not including the 45 we just had, they have cut almost 1,700 employees in a 2-year period. That's a lot of fucking employees. God damn, it's a lot of employees for Ubisoft. There's like a ridiculous number of people. So unfortunately, do have to report on that because, or at least comment on that, because it has been a while since we had news of that nature, and we did have to, unfortunately, talk about it. Let's see, other things we can chat about tonight. Hey, this is a thing that I was expecting to happen at some point, but I thought it would take longer to do over on Microsoft-owned Activision Activision Blizzard is basically like, hey, we figured out how to fix the file size issues with Call of Duty. We're uncoupling Warzone. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 release is bringing a change. This is from their website, their blog. So this will go into effect on Wednesday the 21st. Players will be able to remove Call of Duty Warzone from download of yearly entries. John says, you mean they aren't making us download every Call of Duty at once to play at one of them? No. In fact, if you don't fucking play Warzone, you now no longer have to fucking download Warzone, which has been a sticking point with a lot of people who don't fucking want to download Warzone. That's awesome. Previously, the large file size, you had to do that. Much of that can be placed on the free-to-play Battle Royale, whose updates change with each new game. Lots of updates and all of that. Also, hi, I'm John. Happy you're here. Call of Duty will be treated like a service platform. When you purchase an annual title, you will only down the file. So basically, they're going for the thing like Assassin's Creed Infinity, which hasn't come out yet, but basically is just like a hub for future games. They're basically making the hub, and then you download what you need. When you purchase the annual title, you only download files for that game by default. We want to give players the choice to download each Call of Duty, including Warzone, when and how they wish. So the idea is this, like, also, hey, guess what? If you buy the next Call of Duty, you don't have to then re-download Warzone for the next Call of Duty game. You can just have Warzone still, and updates, of course, but you don't have to re-download Warzone every time you buy a new Call of Duty to have the latest version of Warzone. This is a thing, like I said, I was expecting them to do. I was not expecting them to do it this soon, and that is great news for Call of Duty peoples. Lord Crashington is on a 80 stream streak. That's so many streams. Thank you, Lord Crashington. Appreciate that. And says, I got a weird Twitch email the other day giving me a heads up about a sub renewing soon. Though that was for the middle of September, I don't think I've seen that sort of message before. Yeah, Lord Crashington, I don't know. That could be something they're testing out. You could be part of the test where they're like giving you notice about renewals. I have no idea because I did not receive something similar. John says, also presumably Warzone will update more than the base game. Yes, and you won't have... That's the other thing people have complained about, right? Hey, I have to re-download. This patch has nothing to do with the game that I'm playing. It has to do with Warzone. Why do I have to download this patch just to keep playing the other thing like the thing that I want to be playing? And you won't theoretically have to do that. Which is great. And if a player wants to download it along with the annual game, that option remains, and they can download it separately. They're going to have a new interface coming in October ahead of Black Ops 6. Both Warzone and the most recent annual game will be featured on the front page for ease of access, while previous and last played games will be displayed in the player in-franchise library. So basically, they're adding a hub for Call of Duty with the most, and focusing on the new ones because, of course, they would, because they hope that you will get the new one, because, of course, they want you to get the new one. But this is good news. This is positive news for people. When I downloaded Modern Warfare 3 on Game Pass, says Lord Crashington, it was wild how much stuff I could download at once with various content packs for the games Warzone and Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, there's a lot. There's just a lot there. When the patches for WWE 2K24, because I never did this, because this is the first time that I've ever had DLC. The DLC patches, when they come out before the game launches, are basically, I'm just re-downloading the whole fucking game. And every time you download the game, you're downloading all of the DLC, not just the one that's about to open up. And it takes fucking forever. And then it, like, adjusting itself and patching itself takes fucking forever. And it's a goddamn nightmare. And I will say this. it was nice having 2K24 early this year. Being able to play it before it came out in wide was nice. Having the DLC available is nice. I'll never do it again. I will probably maybe buy a pack here and there if it's someone I really want or it will be engaging, but it's not 100% what we even really do here, and it doesn't quite make sense. And having it a little early is cool, but honestly, a little counterintuitive, right? Because I want, anytime I have the game, I want to have it in a part where there are a lot of people making creator wrestlers, and there always are people who get the game early and do that work. But having it launch week instead of the week after doesn't really make a lot of sense. And it was, it was $100, which was like obviously base game plus the DLC. Like, it evens out and works out. But I'm like, I don't know. Looking back on it, I'm like, I don't think that was something that I 100% really needed to do. So I probably won't do it again. I get the idea of having a general launcher for multiplayer for multiple Call of Duty games, but in reality, it's a mess to manage on the player's end. Well, as I said, Lord Crouchton, the hope is this won't be. The hope is that this will be better than, like, the basic idea is, for the first time in years, you don't have to download Warzone, because you have to, even if you don't want to play Warzone. So you had a bunch of Call of Duty games. And look, do people play the older Call of Duty games? Sure they do. Sure, people play the older ones. But a lot of people buy the next one and play the new one. And they don't care about the previous ones. They save some space. And the people that want Warzone can get Warzone. And the people that don't want Warzone now don't have to have Warzone. So even if it becomes a little more convoluted in places, it's still, I think, overall way better for players to have this option, to have this launcher, to just avoid a lot of the cruft. And yeah, obviously it means that they'll be able to try to sell y'all more stuff, and sure, of course they will, but they were going to do that anyway. It's fucking Call of Duty. They're going to try to sell you shit. Also, theoretically, it will make DLC a lot easier to load in because of the way things work there, and it will be easier to seamlessly integrate that as well, which would be beneficial to a lot of people, for sure. So, yeah, hopefully it'll work out better for players, even if it is a little bit of an adjustment to get used to. Download and play what you want. Yeah. Seems pretty good to me. Let's see. Let's look over on Kotaku for anything. I don't have much to say for myself today. I recorded a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club that will go up on Monday. I will tell you that I hit record and started talking and then finished. And I didn't edit a single moment of it. There's like a one moment where I go on a digression that I guess I could have taken out, but I'm like, upon review, that digression is completely and utterly fine, and I'm totally okay with that digression. So it turns out that, like, hey, I didn't fucking have to jump back in and record. I didn't have to do multiple takes. I didn't have to do any editing. I just did the thing and finished the thing and moved on to the next thing. And that made me very fucking happy. And I also think it turned out good. This is not, I've been talking about some of the Pat Bear's Anime Club that I've wanted to do. There are a couple that ideas I had for episodes. I still want to do the worst, I forget exactly what I wrote down for, but worst plot reveals and plot and twists in anime. I still want to do that video. That is still coming at some point. That has been heavily researched. I also, the idea of worst filler came up, and that is something that I would like to do at some point. That is a ways off. And then also, one that I don't require much work on my end, is more of an essay, but I want some like good examples for it, which is a little bit of work, but not like a ton of work. Is I want to do a video on trying to make the case why the joy in being anime only and not knowing the source material, be it light novel or whatever. But like the example that I've given in the past is a bunch of people who had read the manga for So I'm a Spider, So What were dismayed to realize that the anime was jumping around between different times. And they were like, that doesn't happen in the manga. But the truth is that the anime is based on the light novels, not the manga. And the light novels jump around in time. When the manga adaptation came out, they decided that they would go in chronological order instead of doing the thing the light novel did, which was jump between, seemingly making you think that while these kids are in Magic High School, one of their classmates is a spider, even though she would have become a spider when all of the other kids were born. So it didn't match the timeline, but they seamlessly do it in a way that, like, I think genuinely works. And they do that in the anime. And if you haven't read the manga, you're just like, oh, okay. And it completely and totally works. It like is a great choice, in my opinion, because you get to see a lot of action and you get to see this other half of it, which are these kids trying to figure out how to fucking deal with the fact that they're been reincarnated and where are the other missing members of the class and all that other stuff, and try to figure that stuff out. I think it's like very well done. So that one is going to require some research. I haven't done that. I didn't make any of those. This episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club is I watched a YouTube video this week that's the popular YouTuber made that focuses on anime. And the video didn't make me mad. But what they chose to call the video and describe in it did make me mad, and I'll just chat about that now. Again, the content of the video I think was fine. I'm not here to say like, oh no, this person did a bad job with their video, but they did a thing of like, they talk about isekai. So, you know, that's interesting to me as someone that likes that kind of that format. And their video was like, did I miss? No, I didn't miss a sticker. I have to put a sticker on here. Okay. Their video was like, well, we previously did a video on some of the biggest flexes in isekai. So the big moments, the big massive moments where like, oh, this isekai protagonist is really showing off their superiority. But what about reverse isekai? And I was like, that's not a fucking thing. Reverse isekai is not a thing that exists. It's just an isekai that takes place on Earth. And so the video had like, oh, okay, yeah. So when these characters do this, and here's Toru doing this stuff, and I'm like, okay. Well, one, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is not an isekai. It's not. I don't know the name for it. It's a Tenchi Muyo like. It's an Oh My Goddess like. But it's not. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, the main character in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is Miss Kobayashi, and she's on Earth the whole time. Toru, the dragon, comes to her visits her from a different world. Sure, but she's not the main character in the story. So it's not an isekai. But beyond that, beyond me feeling like, okay, well, that's just like a weird choice, but all right. Is the idea that, like I said, reverse isekai isn't a thing. So I made a video about some of my favorite shows that are like don't fit that particular mold because they are shows that are just regular fucking anime. And we don't have to worry about that shit because it doesn't make any sense to worry about that. Wait, where did that sticker have to go? Oh, it goes there. Okay. Because, so, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. It was one time someone argued with me that, like, well, you know, like, harem is a guy surrounded by women, so a reverse harem is a woman surrounded by guys. And I'm like, sure. The actual definition of harem is male with female. Yes, that is accurate. That's true. The definition of isekai is just different world. It's just the main character finds themselves through reincarnation or transportation in a different world. That's it. That's all it is. It could be two different fantasy worlds. Like, it doesn't have to be necessarily to, you know, like an isekai and what was I trying to say here? Oh, it doesn't necessarily have to be that this person, you know, went from Earth to a fantasy world. It could be one fantasy world to another fantasy world. It could go be a science fiction character could end up in a medieval fantasy world, which happens. That there's anime for that. So, you know, people call, like, Devil is a Part-Timer is a reverse isekai. And I'm like, no, it isn't. Hell is the demon lord's world, and he shows up in our world. It's just a fucking isekai. So DBZ is part isekai when Goku spends time in another world. Maybe. Lord Crashington, one could argue the argument about hell happens a lot in conversations like this. The creator of Welcome to Demon School, Irma-kun, says that the manga creator of Welcome to Demon School, Irma-kun, says Iruma goes to the hell world, but that is not an isekai. He says it's not. Yes, John, the home for infinite losers, sure. The home for infinite losers is not a different world. So Dragon Ball probably isn't an isekai because there are alien worlds and other dimensions. But it happens so frequently and there's travel between two that you could say it's an isekai, but I think you'd be fine to say Dragon Ball Z is an isekai, and you'd also be fine saying Dragon Ball Z is not an isekai. Because aliens generally don't make it an isekai, but they could. It's messy. A lot of it's messy. But to me, reverse isekai doesn't make any sense because it's just the main character goes here. I was talking about the Tenchi that Tenchi Muyo and its spin-offs are not isekais, even with the late season Tenchi Muyo reveal that Tenchi's mom is probably from the same planet that Akane is from. Probably / definitely. And he is of royal blood. Probably / definitely. Tenchi was raised on Earth. So even if he is from another world, there you go. Goku is raised on Earth, and that is the home world he describes. So if he goes to another planet, it might be an isekai. But it also might not be an isekai. Yes. It is fair to believe that Hunter x Hunter has an arc that is an isekai arc. It's a battle arc. There is a point where the characters, and here's the thing. You're like, oh, well, that's inside the game world, Pat. No. By using the game console and the game, they are via Nen powers transported to a real island. It's on the same world, but because the rules of that island differentiate so much and have a fantasy vibe to them, that some people consider that to be an isekai. And I don't think they're necessarily wrong. I think it's totally reasonable to say that the Greed Island arc is an isekai arc. I think that's fine. I will also say, and I mentioned in the video, Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online is not an isekai. The later season the last season where he loses his memory and kind of pretty much for a while there acts like an NPC, you could argue that that season is an isekai. But the early seasons that people call isekai, no. That's not an isekai, that's a death game. It's just a death game situation, but it's not an isekai. And people argue with me about that one as well, and they're welcome to their arguments, but they are wrong because virtual reality is not a different world. Being trapped in virtual reality means you're in a death game. But anyway, I made that video because the idea of reverse isekai made me mad, and seeing a prominent YouTuber in the scene using that terminology made me mad. So I made a video about it, which is just me talking about isekai that are set on Earth. And then, unfortunately, I did have a moment where I tried to answer my own question and could not remember the name of an anime where people the post isekai, which is now a somewhat popular subgenre in the manga world and in light novel world, of the character who was isekai'd. We have had that in the anime Isekai Uncle from Another World, where he's kind of dealing with the realities of being back. Dog Days, they go back and forth between the worlds, but Inuyasha, of course, go back and forth. Kagome does go back and forth somewhat, although it's mostly in that world. But I was an isekai character and now I have powers that I got there and I'm using those in the real world is not necessarily the most we have not seen a lot of anime adaptations of that. There is like one really horny anime that I can't remember the name of, where the guy does come back from being isekai'd, and we really see very little of that world, and we mostly see him dealing with being a school student at like a magical high school. I've never known anime fans to argue about minor things, says Lord Crush did. And M. John says, time to make my Back to the Future and Isekai video for Rage content. Alternate 1985 is Another World. I think there's 4 versions of 1985. So yeah, time travel can really fuck with all of this, because most of those timelines are not far enough that the worlds are that different that in my mind you could say this is an isekai. There is an isekai called I Quit Heroing that starts off very much not as an isekai, and later we learn that the main character, is an artificial intelligence, a robot created in a scientific future, and has existed as that society fell completely and the world was forever changed, and then the form that came up was a fantasy world with magic. I still think that's an isekai, even though it's just because it's a very different world from the world he was in, and he just lived long enough to get there. However, I don't personally consider, and I don't think a lot of people do, but some people do say that Dr. Stone is an isekai. Dr. Stone, where all of our main characters were petrified by something, and then the Earth basically took over itself again, and whatever wasn't petrified survived, and then some people were fine, enough people were fine, and then also astronauts landed on Earth that avoided it, and then eventually had children. But I don't think that's an isekai, because I think not enough time passed that the world was forever changed so dramatically that it counts as a different world. But again, if people are like, for me, that's a different world. It's like, okay, like, I'm not going to argue that too much. I've mentioned this already. Welcome to Demon School Irma-kun is an isekai. The mangaka says it's not an isekai. The mangaka is wrong, because Irma is from regular ass Earth, and Irma now lives in the demon world. And that to me is a fucking isekai. But yeah. Anyway, I made that video. It's going up on Monday. $5 and $10 patrons will be able to see it tomorrow. I think it turned out pretty good. It was a bit of stream of consciousness. I did do some, I got some images together and started talking about some of the better examples. I also, part of it is I just looked up reverse isekai and looked at lists from websites of popular, high-ranking. They weren't ranked because they're isekai. They're ranked because they're, or reverse isekai, they're ranked because they're anime that people like. But looking at the quote-unquote best reverse isekais and then just being like, yeah, these are just isekais set on Earth. They're not reverse any fucking thing. Don't worry about it. I was happy to make that video. Sometimes you know what? I have this other idea, and I've done the fucking research. Give me 2 more weeks on the anime with bad plot reveals, because I realized I can't talk about Dr. Stone yet because the anime isn't there yet. And I don't mind giving anime spoilers with proper warning of, hey, I'm going to talk about this anime. If you don't want to know about this anime and what happens in it, don't watch this part of the video. But it's different for me to be like, hey, you might only watch the anime. I'm about to spoil this thing from the manga. That's a different story. I'm not interested in doing that. That's not how I operate. John asks, is Mario Brothers 2 an isekai? So I don't think that a dream world is... If you fall asleep and you wake up in a dream world, I don't think that's an isekai. For means of transportation, I don't think dreams, because that's implied. It's implied that Mario dreamt the whole thing, and so none of it is real, which is different from, like, there is a world and you get summoned to it and like that kind of thing. Now, the Super Mario Brothers animated movie that predates the live action movies and the latest animated movie, the anime that was only released in Japan and had a limited theatrical release, so it does count as a movie. That movie they go through the warp pipes. Actually, both that and the live action are isekai. The 90s live action and the original cartoon are both isekai because they are summoned through pipes. But Super Mario Bros. 2, I do not think is an isekai because it is implied that Mario is dreaming the whole thing. So to me, that does not say isekai. That says a dream. But again, it is what it is. I'm expecting to see. We're still dealing with the kicked / banished subgenre of stuff coming out. Some of which are isekai, some of which are not. But I do expect to see more of the post isekai anime. That one, I think, unfortunately, I think the manga got canceled. I think ended anyway, abruptly ended. But there was a manga that I really liked the premise of. I've talked about it on stream before. I just love this fucking premise. A dude he's already been isekai'd. He's already done the isekai shit. He been there, done that. No sweat, no problem. He comes back and he ends up in a death game. But it doesn't matter because he has isekai powers. And the second it happens again in a different thing, and so it kind of doesn't work. It's kind of more of honestly, as it went on, it was yeah, I get it. But as the first arc of it is so fun because all these people are these people are trying to make these students kill each other. And there's a student there that survived the last one and got dragged back in. And maybe it's his fault that all these other students are dealing with it. And everyone's freaked out. And the guy who's in charge, or, one of the people in charge, is threatening them to get them to do it. And our guy is whatever. And also, nobody who is a villain can comprehend or understand or deal with the fact that, why isn't this working? Yeah, what do you mean you have magic? Like, cannot comprehend that this guy's just like, yeah, I made them disappear. Oh, yeah, I made all the missiles disappear. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, yeah, no, I broke that helicopter. I have magic abilities. Like, oh, you shot me? Yeah, that's fine. And it's just like a fun idea. I think it's just such a fun premise. There's another one that came out last year in Isekai where a guy had been isekai'd and then he got resummoned back to Earth, but he got summoned to Earth as a baby and he grew up again, and then he got isekai'd as a group, and he was like, what the fuck? All right, I'm back, I guess. And so he has all his abilities and he's tracking people down where he definitely was not supposed to be summoned. All right, our legs are done. Our cool legs that have, we put a sticker on here and a part that you can't see, and that's weird. And I don't know if that changes or we just put stickers onto a part that doesn't, but like, what? Why did I put stickers? Oh, because these pop out some. Okay, that's why. I'm like, why did I put a sticker on there? That's because these can pop out a little bit on purpose and you can see the sticker. I was going to say, that felt weird, but okay. Is there an anime where there is a Lazarus Long type character who has lived millennia of human lives being isekai'd? Oh, a continuous isekai'd character. There is a current manga right now where a guy has been banished 100 times in 100 different worlds, and now he is restarting the first world he was isekai'd in, but now he has abilities from each place. And so the first time, he basically thought, I have to be banished 100 times from 100 different worlds to go home. No. Now he gets to restart and fix all of the worlds. So that's a little bit what you're talking about there. But not exactly what you're talking about. I don't remember that. I don't think so. So this is right now, that's just a manga. I cannot remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it is a fun premise. That has not been turned into an anime as of yet. But yeah, I don't know if there are any isekai where a guy just keeps ending his life and starting over. There are a couple isekai that are like, I had a previous life as, there's one, the F rank. There's a couple F rank manga, but one of them is he was like the saint, and then he was also like the sword king, and so he was a sage and a saint, and this is his third life, and he has both abilities. When he became a wizard and was the sage, he couldn't use sword fighting, but this time he could do both. And he was basically like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want any prophecies this time. But of course he's dealing with prophecies because you can't really escape it when you're like an all powerful being. Anyway, I talked a lot about isekai there, and I think that's fine. Now is the part of the stream where I'm going to talk to you about ways you can support the channel, and then I'll talk about a manga. Which manga did I want to talk about today? Which is an isekai. We'll talk about an isekai with an interesting premise. And then we'll talk about an anime that is not an isekai. But now it's the part of the stream where I'm going to talk to you about ways you can support the channel. Everything I'm going to tell you here is optional. You don't have to do any of these things. But if you would like to, I would love for you to do it. First and foremost, if you are currently a subscriber to the Build with Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat if you are a Tier 2 subscriber. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. I mentioned at the top of the stream. I won't mention it again because this promotion is ending soon. But if you would like 3 months of Apple TV Plus, subscribe for the first time here, or gift a sub to the channel to someone in the community, and you get that 3 months of Apple TV Plus. That promotion ends sometime on the 19th, so I won't talk about it on Monday's stream. But right now, I did at least want to mention it. If you want to do that and become a gift a sub, if you don't care about Apple TV Plus, you just want to gift a sub, help out somebody in the community, have the number go up. We're currently at 25 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I shut up about it to 40. If you want to do that, you can. No big whoop if you don't want to. Bits and coins also always appreciated if you want to join the cheerleader board. I get a cut of that. I don't get the full amount, just a cut, but that's fine. I'm going to drink a little water because I need it right now. Now, subscribing through Twitch is an easy way to support me. You get cool emotes. You don't see ads. It's nice. I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBaer. At the $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier, there are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. Pardon me for 1 second. Okay. Jump in on that Patreon if you would like to jump on that Patreon. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBaer. Over my YouTube channel, you can subscribe for free, and please consider doing that. You could also, if you wanted to, become a member for just $2 a month, and you get my Wednesday videos a day early. It's currently the chillest of all chill slice of life month, and I recorded next week's already, and that'll go up for everybody on Wednesday, but you could watch that on Tuesday if you wanted to. So consider doing that. And everything those are monthly ways to support me, I should say. But there's also one-time donations. If you want to do a one-time, you could do that. Let me hit that one time, the monies. That's my Ko-Fi and my PayPal and everything I make through direct donations like that through YouTube, which includes AdSense. So watching my videos helps me out through Patreon and through Twitch. All goes into a fund. And out of that fund, I take money to buy model kits. I have a backlog of stuff. The next thing I'm working on is a kit that was purchased off for myself. I purchased myself from USA Gundam Store, because they were having a sale, a good sale, and I looked at it and saw, ooh, that's a good price. I'm going to get that. But yeah, I have a backlog of stuff that I'd be happy to build, and the kit I'm currently working on, the Gundam, this Gundam Reborns, or Reborns Gundam, I should say, from Gundam 00, the Gundam 00 Reborns Gundam, was bought off my Amazon wish list. And if you want to decide what I'm building next, because if you buy something from my wish list, it jumps the queue. It becomes the next thing I build. If you want to decide what I'm building next and get a dedicated YouTube video about the thing you purchased, you could do that over on my Amazon wish list. That's the easiest way to do that. I have Lego sets. I got model kits. I have inexpensive kits. I have expensive kits. All kinds of different things. Small little kits that will be fun to build. Very expensive looking kits that would take forever to build. All kinds of different things and things. See if there's something there on the list that you'd like to see me put together. And I certainly would. I got all kinds of stuff. I recently added some things in there. Some model kits. The Gaia Gundam from Gundam Seed is in there. A new Lego set for on my list here that looks really cool. All kinds of different things. A knockoff Lego of a mech. The Niflas Brinnock. Brinnock, I believe, is the name of the model kit, or the model, the mech. And Niffles is the name of the company. And that looks bad, but also good. And I would love to see if that's terrible or not. So maybe I'll pick that up someday myself, but you could buy it if you wanted to off my Amazon wish list. And there's some gear at the bottom if you want to support the channel, but you're like, I don't fucking know, Pat, but here have a backup $10 pair of headphones, of wired headphones, just so you have those, because you like your Sony headphones, which I do. I like these $10 Sonys, $10 to $15 Sonys that just work. They're not great. They just work well, and they're a little resistance to being knocked around and falling off my table. But yeah, if you want to do that, you can go to my Amazon wish list. If you want to support me and you don't want to use Amazon, I get it. Totally understand. I have a wish list on Throne. It's obviously much smaller, but if there's something there you think you'd like to see me pick up, you could do that. And then, of course, you could always do the most convoluted way to support me is to go to USA Gundam Store. At USA Gundam Store, you can buy a gift card. And then they will send you an email with the gift card code. Then you get that gift card code in your email, and then you copy it into a message and send it to me as a whisper here on Twitch, or a DM on Twitter, or a message on Blue Sky, a private message on Blue Sky, or Mastodon, or Discord, I guess, with the gift card code. And then I would use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. And that's a way to do it. Mail the code to a P.O. box with the letters cut out in various magazines. No, John. I don't have a P.O. box. That's my big reason why you don't do that. Is 'cause I don't have a PO box for you to send it to. Not for any other reason. But yeah, also don't do that. Those are all the ways that involve money if you want to support me. But if you just want to hang out in a Discord, I got a Discord. I mean, you can hang out in whatever Discord you want to, but if you want to hang out in my Discord, you can. It's a nice place. People post build photos of stuff they're working on. People send me links to things they think I would be interested in. Sometimes they send me links to things that I've already decided I was going to talk about on stream. And I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, we'll cover that. A couple video links for you to check out. I talked about Monday's episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club that has already been uploaded and is ready to go out. But the most recent episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club, the one that is still, you can still watch now if you haven't, is my recommendations for this current season. A couple shows that are isekais, a couple shows that are not. Some stuff I talk about here on a weekly basis, some stuff I haven't talked about much. Check it out. It's a good video. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series, and I would like you to check out the latest episode of Kuma Baer, your weekly anime recommendation, because it is about Azumanga Daioh, which is one of my favorite series of all time, one of my favorite anime ever. Oops, sorry, hold on a second. Oh no. I accidentally opened it, and then another person's short started playing. So my apologies. I wanted to see how many views I had in this one. I was not expecting a lot because most of the time when I do a video, when I do a short on a show that has a Japanese name, it doesn't do particularly well. Yeah, this one has not done well compared to my others. But last week, Nanan Biori did exceptionally well. So I don't fucking know. I have no idea. But I don't know. I'm still going to talk about the shows I want to talk about. I probably won't talk about shows that have death or die in the title because those will get crunched on Instagram and TikTok and also probably YouTube. So I probably won't talk about like Dead Mount Death Play, or something like that. I probably wouldn't talk about that necessarily anyway in a short, but I, probably make that decision. But watch that video if you haven't yet, because Azumanga Daioh is a fucking classic and you should know about it and you should listen to me talk about it. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to talk about a manga that I have been reading, and I will talk about an anime that I have been watching, and then we'll talk about what y'all are up to, and we'll wrap up the stream. That's what the next 40 minutes of our stream is going to be, pretty much in that order. But before I do that, I do need to drink some water. Gotta have some water. And we need to also transition back to the overhead camera so that we can work on the waist, which unfortunately has a ton of fucking stickers. Of course it does. But we got to build the waist for this, and we'll dramatically transition right now. All right. Let's talk about a manga while I start working on this model kit. Let's talk about on the 10th year, the transferee who gave up returning finally becomes the protagonist. This is a fun premise. So, obviously this is an isekai. Our main character was transferred to another world and has been going on adventures and doing stuff for now 10 years. This is the 10th year. We don't see much of that. We see flashes here and there, but we don't really know much about him other than he's in the Adventurers Guild and he's in this town, and that's about it. We understand he has some skills, he was able to survive, but we get the sense that he has spent the last 10 years trying to figure out how to get back home. He's not the first person to transfer. There is clear evidence that people have come from Earth. Not only because there are technologies in that world that are clearly, quote unquote, lost technologies that are definitely from Earth, but also there is inherited technology that comes in. There's just like a bunch of stuff that has come through that is very clear. There are items that are based on that. It's very clear that somebody has been from Earth before. So he's like, well, if people have come here, maybe there's a way to go back. And that's what he's done. And we also learn over the course of the first several chapters of this story, kind of the part one, the first arc of it, that our guy has been pretty fucking reserved. Because, and this is a twist that I haven't really seen in this, because I mean I've read so and watched so many isekai. But here's the premise. Part of the premise is, what if he just goes back? Not only does he have a longing to return to his world and the people there and all of that, but there's also this thing that I don't think we've kind of like touched on as much. What happens to the people that he's close with? What if he fell in love while he was there? What if he had party members and best friends? What does he want to? What happens if he abandons those people again? He appeared out of nowhere. He could disappear anytime. Because I have seen anime and manga where the main character is like jumping between worlds and kind of playing that out and figuring out how that works. I've definitely seen that, or like, oh, I'm going back to my world and you're coming with me, happens in like a couple isekai, because most isekai don't actually go full bore with that. They just kind of play around in the space. And most of the time, the characters that are on this fantasy world are fucking psyched about it, or having a very bad time, but learn to live with it and deal with it as best they fucking can. So the idea that he has, for these past 9+ years, just kind of been he wasn't trying to forge relationships with people, deep, meaningful ones, because he never knew. There was a back of his mind. He just never knew. And he was also so desperate to go. Now, at the start of this, it's 10 years in. He's not going back. He cannot figure out a way to go back. He's not been able to identify anything like that. And it's time for him to just kind of settle down and whatever. And at that very moment that he kind of makes that decision, he gets offered a job. It's a rescue mission. The largest business in town, the twin daughters of the former owners, the second in command has been running things because they are not of age. And it has become clear to the owner of the guild that they do not want to be there, that they are under some sort of house arrest, and that the current owner of this place is dealing, the current owner has been running some sort of scam, may have something to do with their parents' death, but is clearly trying to take over the business, which is the biggest business in town, and it's a fucking nightmare. He's got a bunch of goons watching his back and all that. It's a whole thing. So our guy just goes, you know what? I was planning on leaving this town and starting fresh somewhere and actually trying to live my life, but I need money to go on that journey. I'll go and do it. And in the process of saving these girls and bringing this guy to justice, it is revealed in a fairly fucking pretty damn cool way. Oh, hey, our main character fucking whips ass. He doesn't necessarily have cheat abilities like you would expect a main character in an isekai to have, but he does have a lot of inherent knowledge that he uses to its fullest. And also, he didn't spend that 10 years dicking around. He spent it adventuring, exploring the world as best he could to try his damnedest to find ways to get back to Earth. And along the way, he became like the strongest adventurer you can be, like ranked wise. I don't remember if he was B rank or whatever, but he's high ranked. The highest rank you can go by as a solo adventurer. And just this whole group of people with like artificial like limbs that are like robotic limbs that are like fighting this guy. They're just like, oh yeah, shit. Okay, well, fuck. Like, it's a good little fight scene where his weapon uses magnetism because he has a understanding of it better than most people and uses that with magic. He's just like, our main guy is fucking cool. Like the title suggests, he finally becomes the protagonist. So, long story short, he helps the twins. He he brings people to justice, makes things easier, and then he's going to go fucking disappear. And that's when they discover that he is an otherworlder, that he's a transferee. They are apparently really fucking into the idea. They are like super interested in old technology. And they're like, hey, not only do we want to help you discover a means to get you home, but if we can't do that, we're going to become your reason to be here. These two young ladies basically declare, like, we're going to become your family, and we're going to be the reason why you want to stay here. So it's not that you can never go home. It's that, yeah, this is your home, which is a huge, weird declaration. And he's just like, yeah, all right. And so the next arc, which we're currently in right now, is them exploring a labyrinth city and making money, and the two girls becoming stronger, and him showing off and working with a bunch of people and dealing with some bullshit. They're currently dealing with some bullshit and trying their best to make things work. And it is pretty fucking cool. It's a pretty fucking cool manga. But like I said, the thing that really drew to me is the idea of a character who is like, I could disappear at any time. I want to disappear. I don't want to make connections in this world. I found that fascinating. And I think this manga does a good job of exploring that and like fully exploring that idea of this like inherent loneliness and this fear of losing a lot of other people. I wish we saw a little bit more of his adventures just as a dude for the past, 10 years. But I think there'll probably be some flashbacks here and there. And I just think it's a cool idea. That is, on the 10th year, the transferee who gave up returning finally becomes the protagonist. And, this is the last sticker, friends. We're finally done with all these goddamn stickers. Holy shit. So psyched about that. This kid has so many stickers. But we're almost done with the stickers. All right, so this is going to go like this. This is going to go here. This would have been difficult to do without a sticker, so I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, this whole kit looks great. It's a weird kit, but it looks good. All right, so that's that. And then need to put on this piece, and then the bottom piece here. This piece is where it would plug into a stand, but if we're not going to put it on a stand, then there is a piece that goes there. We can put a piece of plastic there. So we'll do that. Let me find D1. And now's the part of the stream where we're going to talk about an anime that I have been watching. We're talking about Dungeon People over on High Dive. This is not an isekai. It is a fantasy series about a girl who is she's a person working for the dungeon. She's a dungeon person. It is Clay, who is a young woman that from backstory we kind of understand that her father is missing and is maybe in a dungeon. She's been exploring dungeons not only to survive and to make money to do that, but also believed to try to track him down and figure out where he went and why is he dead or gone or hurt or missing or just she doesn't know. She wants to know. But currently she has started working for the dungeon because the dungeon has a dungeon master and a bunch of employees that are monsters, and she got hired to work there. And I'm still, it seems like she decided to work there to become stronger. That seems to be her motivation. That I think, but I'm not fully sure. Like, why? What do you do? Why did you say yes to this? But it seems like she said yes because she wants to get stronger and knows that she can get stronger by working there. This episode, episode 6, is the chillest episode so far. There is some fighting, but it's mostly in montage form. This episode is mostly like characters interacting with each other and talking and some silliness. It is like pretty chill. It is like I said, it is very slice of life. We start with Belle, who is the dungeon master, and Clay. They're at the dining area and they're hanging out. And Belle is asking Clay, like, hey, why aren't you eating your vegetables? And Clay, apparently, from survival, she's mostly eats meat because it's what's readily available. When she was scavenging her food in dungeons, she was mostly a meat and water kind of person. But she's just like, I don't know, I can make something. It turns out she is bad at cooking. And in we see a flashback where Clay is told by her dad that cooking is an important skill and that if she can't cook well enough, she should consider getting some professional help. Clay talks more about her style. We have Rengard enter the room, and he's just like, oh, you don't actually know anything about cooking. And then so Rengard, who is one of my favorite characters in the show, there is a good bit of business here where he's just like, I'm just here to collect water. And then it is discovered that he means alcohol. He calls alcohol water. So he's just here for alcohol, which I thought was a good bit of business. But he gets his alcohol. Rengard and Belle try Clay's soup that she made, it's her vegetable soup, and they're just like, yeah, this is terrible. And Clay's like, yeah, I didn't do a good job. But she's like, if I can eat it, it's fine. So then Rengard is just like, you should get some professional help, which is fun. It is like mirroring what her dad said, and that is fun. Firin arrives, and she's like, I can teach you how to cook. So she does some stuff, had a flavor, a stock, the use of salt, the importance of using salt in your stuff, and just kind of goes through the tutorial there. And then Firin shows up with dragon meat. And Belle is like, well, that was a gift, but yeah, you can use it. And she's unsure about using that. She doesn't know if that's the right thing to do, to use this valuable meat. But it's like, totally okay. Also, Clay is like, I'll cook it. And everyone's just like, no, you don't get to do that. I will say right now, it is fun to have a character who is seemingly like getting stronger and is cool as hell. Clay is a badass main character. It's fun to have her a thing that she is bad at. This is the first time we've seen anything that she is not good at, which just happens to be cooking. And that's a fun bit of business. I liked it. I thought that was a good little touch, good little character bit that she's doesn't know the first fucking thing about cooking. And then Clay is like, I've learned, like, I have a lot of preconceived notions, and I'm learning a lot about both cooking and fighting. So the second half is Clay visiting Rengard about the daggers, and Clay thanks him for fixing the daggers, and then he's like, "Hey, I made you this armor." And Clay's just like, it shows a lot of skin. So we're kind of playing with the concept at this point of bikini armor and revealing armor for women and why that exists in this dungeon and what the fuck's going on with that. Turns out, before Belle, Belle's former master, the last person to be in charge of this dungeon, really liked bikini armor. And that's why they make it. So Clay likes it, but doesn't like how it looks, and finds one that's less erotic looking, and is just like, hey, this isn't as bad. Clay goes to explore the dungeon on her day off, and she does some battles, and she's trying to use, she's on the 9th floor, and she's trying to use her new daggers, and also she's trying to use the magic that she's been taught. And this is just a montage. This is really like not, it's the only action in the episode, but it's not like a lot that's going on in this particular episode. It's mostly just like, oh yeah, we'll just kind of see that she is getting stronger, but also using that magic saps her stamina a lot faster. So she's like, okay, I'm going to have to work hard on that. So now I have a new goal. And that's it. It ends with the two of them talking to each other. Like I said, most of this episode is just, it's nice to see some of the minor characters have more to do. And it was nice to have a little bit of a slicey life thing in this. I'm expecting a little more action as we continue. I'm assuming at some point Belle is going to have to fight humans again, because she only did that very briefly. So I'm expecting there to be more to that. Meanwhile, we are body complete on this kit. We still have to work on the backpack and the weapons so that we can do the mode change here. So we still have backpacky stuff to make, and changing around how this stuff works and all of that. So that we can go into this other mode. So we still have to do that, but right now we'll focus on the backpack part of it. I don't think we're going to finish this tonight, but I do think we'll finish it on Monday, and then we'll start another kit. We'll do a snap car. And yeah, like I said, Dungeon People, kind of a chill episode, but really enjoyable. I had a good time with this one. Yeah, I thought it was fun. So I was happy to talk about that. Now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? I love to hear from you about what you got going on. Throw in the chat. Lashbrick says, I really do like the colors on this kit. Yeah, I think the gold, this like muted gold, is really nice and works really well with the white and the red, and all of it kind of blends really well together. The small amounts of black on the kit that are unfortunately mostly stickers, but still work really well. This tan color I think is really nice. This kit is sharp. But yeah, like I said, now's the part of the stream I want to hear from you. What are you up to? What are you watching? What are you playing? I myself, your friend Pat over here, I have been, like I said, I recorded a video today, and I was happy to get that done. Yesterday I recorded the next two for my ongoing series Kuma Baer. I recorded those, so those are all ready to go and uploaded and done. Minor editing. I do hard captions on those because they go out to TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts. So because they go to a bunch of places, I do the hard lines, like baked in captions. So I have to basically watch the video and at like 25 or 50% speed and type that out and put that in. And sometimes I do an okay job, and sometimes I fuck that up, but I do my best. So I had to do that, which worked out. Well, I thought worked out pretty okay. So I did that. Really just prepping for some things. Got a Lego set in the mail that is very fucking cool, and you'll see that in a future build. Is a cool Lego set that I picked up. I'm excited about that. Gaming is just Hearthstone. That has been my daily driver, is playing some Hearthstone. I've been fighting against decks that I think fucking suck ass, because I'm doing okay in Wild. So I've been playing my standard deck because I'm way lower ranked in standard. So I come across less bullshit in standard because of that, which is nice. But eventually I'll have to be playing more. I'll have to get involved more in Wild. But I do like the decks I have in Wild. I'm just fucking getting crushed by the same couple annoying ass decks. and I'm not thrilled with that. So I'm looking for like a new scam deck that will work well and also piss off assholes. That's my hope. No Helldivers 2 in a while, trying to get people together. There was some of my friends were getting together tonight, but I would have played with them for like 20 minutes, and that obviously wasn't worth it, so I didn't play with them tonight, but I'm going to try to play tomorrow afternoon, because I think there's some other people that were like, oh, I can't do it, but let's try to do it tomorrow. So it sounds like we're going to get a game together tomorrow, which would be rad, and I would love, because I like playing Helldivers 2. This latest update does not bother me in the way it bothers some people, so I'm pretty okay with it. But I know that it has pissed off some folks in the community. Lastbrook says, I really do love the colors on this kit. You already said that, so I'll read that again there. My mistake. Ghost Valve started playing Monster Hunter World again and enjoying it. Nice. Lined up some movies to watch next week since Alamo has cheap tickets for the rest of the month. Okay, hell yeah. Yeah, that's smart. Plan around it. Get the things you want to do. I'll have to build this thing with B and some polycaps. Okay, we'll do that next. As we start building the backpack here. Gonna try a MTG sealed event in person, hoping to do all right. Hell yeah, Ghost Valve. Good luck to you. I hope you do well. At the very least, I hope you have some fucking fun playing some sealed. Fun, don't be afraid to go with the way your deck is going and not to try to force what you're, but the first couple cards and you're like, oh, I could do this, and that's my main advice is. Look at your whole deck or your whole available cards, not just the couple cards you think you can build a deck around. Lord Crashton says, I got Castaway on PS5, which is nice. Little Zelda-style game for the developer of Lunark that offers a quick campaign before pushing you to work your way through a tough 50-level tower of combat challenges. That sounds like not for me, but good for you. So congratulations. But that sounds very much not for me. Yeah, I hope you're having a good time with it. Seems like it. Last week says I ended up watching all of Girls Band Cry today, and that show didn't light my world on fire, but it was pretty good. I still never got used to the CG though. Yeah, the people I know that really love that show got over the CG in a way that I didn't when I was checking out clips of it. But then they had the official release, which some people were unhappy with apparently very unhappy with the translation of it. Which I have not really seen outside of clips from the first thing, because there was not a full international release, but those subtitle versions were out there internationally, and people were watching those. I don't know. There's some people I know who really love that show, and I'm not in a rush to watch it because I got a bunch of anime that I'm currently watching right now. But I totally understand. To a lot of people, that was their spring 2024 show. That was the show that they were super into. Dirty says trust in the heart of the cards. Hey, Dirty. Yes, please also trust in the heart of the cards with your sealed. Jill Spicy says started Ender of the Lilies, which is basically a Hollow Knight clone, but it's damn good. I mean, Hollow Knight is great, so a Hollow Knight clone could be totally good. Hell yeah. Enjoy that. This coming Tuesday, I am going to be checking out Odetta, which is a music roguelike, I have been told. I have not tried it at all. I will make sure it works probably tomorrow, and then play a little bit and then hopefully reset my progress so that I can do it there. And then also Gordlets. I will be playing Gordlets on Tuesday. You may remember Gordlets from our the various games demos that we looked at on the Steam Next Fest demo stream. Which I had a lot of fun doing, and I should do again. Next time there's a Next Fest, I should do a stream around that. But Gordlets, which is a little very chill like placement, tile placement game, kind of like not a city builder, but like a diorama builder that is very chill and has no like set goal other than having a good time. That seemed very fun. Also, that has that'll be good on stream because basically, if you do like exclamation point gordlets, and I choose to integrate with Twitch, it means that like some of the gordlets that are moving to my area will have the names of y'all, and that's a fun bit of business of viewers. So that'll be fun. But yeah. I should say, I will say this a bunch of times. It'll be written. It'll say it like on the title. I will say it in promotion of Tuesday's stream, but I do want to just also say it here because it is important to say it at various places. That game. So that will be. Sorry, I did this wrong. Yeah, okay. I'm figuring this out now. Sorry. That both those games I did not buy. They were codes were provided. And so that does not change how I will approach them. You know, I will tell you my thoughts as we're playing. I will hear your thoughts of the games as I am playing them. But I just want you to know this is not going to be a sponsored stream by either game, but they were provided. I try to make that clear because most games I play on a Tuesday are games I bought with my own money. So I do try to say like, oh, I got a code for this or whatever, because to me that is still incredibly important for me to be able to tell y'all that these thoughts, you know, like that way you can take things with a grain of salt if you want to take it with a grain of salt. If you're just like, well, I don't know if that's $10, you know, like worth $10 or whatever. You'd be like, yeah, well, I didn't pay $10 for it, so I can tell you it's worth free. This is a great free game, free for me game. You know, I think that's important. Yes, Little Crash, just don't mention COVID. Yeah. I'll say this. I know very few streamers that fucking do any of the things they're supposed to. They're apparently a game coming out of China from an independent studio that has investment from Tencent, but they're still independent because they're not owned by Tencent. They just have investment from Tencent. Anyway, they got a game coming out, and part of their streamer coverage, if you got a code, is that you're agreeing to the idea that you will not promote political things like feminism or mention COVID or quarantines. And I don't know if it's specific to that game or it's just specific to them. If they are trying to get ahead of issues, they are trying to have their cake and eat it too and be a game that like, trying to be having a game that can work worldwide without anything. Also, one might assume that this company does not have a lot of English-speaking employees, and so they're putting this in place because they don't want to. They don't feel equipped to monitor chats. Now, I will say this: if you are paying someone money and you are signing a contract, then these things, however nonsensical that they are, and they are, of course, nonsensical, still fit in the like, well, hey, I'm doing a job, and you can tell me what you want to say. Like if you put in a thing, hey, I'm going to pay you to play our game. Don't talk about how you don't like the game. Sure. Okay. Don't talk about feminism. Weird, but you're paying me. Okay. But for review copy or streamer copy, these are ridiculous asks. And the point I made, and I stand by this point, is there are going to be so many streamers that are just never, guess what? They didn't fucking read those guidelines. They got a code. The only guideline they're going to read is, when can I stream it that won't get me in trouble? And not in trouble from the people that gave them the code. In trouble from Twitch, because Twitch knows how early you can play a game. And Twitch also knows when a game has been whitelisted and for who. So that's the only thing they care about. They care about an embargo of when can I stream this game. Streamers who are getting a game for free, in most cases, do not, these are generalities, do not give a shit about what they can and can't say or do, because who cares? They figure, all right, well, I won't get another free game from this company. This publisher is publishing their own game. This is their first game in 7 years since they made a last game, which was a mobile-only game. So, like, what do they care? There might be some companies where they don't want to piss them off, but, like, what do people care, like, if they talk about some stuff from Wudang? Sure, whatever. Also, a lot of streamers probably weren't going to say a lot of that shit anyway. They might bring up COVID, but they're probably not going to be bringing up how China runs itself as a country, because they either don't know or don't care. Twitch snitches get Twitch stitches. Yeah. I mean, the reality of it is, it's just like, I don't know, fucking, there a lot of this shit, I would just say, is you just ignore it, because they're not going to enforce any of that shit. So here's the thing, right? And obviously it fucking sucks. I'm not trying to say that this, like, don't talk about feminism, don't talk about freedom or whatever, don't talk about COVID, any of these things. I'm not trying to say that shit doesn't suck to see, that it doesn't suck to see that a company is trying to tell people what they can and can't say in order to advertise a game for them. Because again, this free publicity for that game by the streamer who is doing the work of streaming. I am not trying to say that, like, oh, that it doesn't suck. I'm not trying to downplay any of this. What I'm trying to say is, this is this independent, with money from Tencent, but still considered an independent company, trying to have a game that they can sell internationally, and without the Chinese government being mad at them. Because they will say, if presented with, oh, well, this happened and this happened. Well, we told them, these streamers broke our rules. Look at the rules that we did in line with what you say. So it is a thing where it's like, I'm not excusing it, but I understand how we got here. I totally understand why this company, because also games that don't have this kind of bullshit behind them, still, there are a lot of publishers and PR firms that work for companies that have, like, all of these weird requirements, and they're not even fucking paying you. Fuck off. Like, I'm not going to break an embargo. I'm not going to stream a game before it comes out. I got Gordlets, a code for Gordlets, before the game was available for sale. And they asked me not to stream it or make a video about it that published before the game was for sale. That's fucking reasonable. They gave me a game. That's all they asked. When I got Mech Builder, I got asked to tag, which I never fucking did. But whatever. Not asked, oh, please tag every time, but, like, basically saying, if you tag, I will retweet. Basically what I got told. And I was like, okay. And I never tagged them, but I still got retweeted, and that's fine. Sure. All this to say, it's shitty, but it's not surprising. And also, it's not enforceable, and and people will make it into a meme, and the people that are going to stream it anyway, some of whom do not care, others who will not listen or look at it, or, as I said, didn't read the fucking thing and don't give a shit about it. On that note, we are going to end tonight's stream. On Monday, we will complete this kit. It's not against the law to break a contract, but also, John, it's not a contract. It's an agreement. They're saying, hey, if you stream this game, please abide by our rules. Oh, well, who the fuck cares? Don't send me the game again. Don't send me another game the next time you publish a game. Anyway, we're going to wrap up tonight's stream. I want to thank you all so much for joining me here. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream around here. My next stream on Monday, we will finish this kit. We will build a cool Lego, or not Lego. We will build a car, a model kit. It will be a snap kit car, and we will build that next. As John says, we always end with a raid. We're going to go find someone doing cool shit that we want to go spend some time with and go see what they're up to. So let's see who that's going to be on a Saturday evening. How long has my friend Ben been going? Ben has been going for 6 hours, so I don't think he'll be streaming that long. Turns out when we raided Evil Uno, he was definitely fucking wrapping up his stream, which is a bummer when that happens, but it does happen. All right, we're going to hang out with TQ. TQ is playing Fields of Mystria. And has been doing a little fundraising, but is apparently done with that. But yeah, right now TQ is playing this game, Fields of Mystria, which is like a bunch of inspired by a bunch of different genres of games all thrown together, and apparently like a really fun game that she's really into. So we're gonna go check out with TQ and see about that game. Thank you all so much for being here. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Come back on Saturday. This Saturday. Come back on Monday. God damn it. Come back on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I will finish up this model kit. I will show you the transformation, the other mode for it. And I also will start a cool car that is a snap kit, which I think is our first snap kit car. So thanks so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.